Welcome to Show Me Tech Tips, and in this video I'm just going to show you how to format names. So you've got some names, you either want the names split up into first name and last name, or you want to join the names together because they've already been split up. So let me show you how this works. Again, I'm going to put a link to the document that you can see on screen so that you can follow along and see how it works. So let's look at this first scenario. So I'm on the tab that says split names. I've copied and pasted a whole load of names, and I want them two things. I want them split, so I want the first name and last name separated, and also I don't want them in capitals. I want them to read like a normal name would. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the split. Now there's several ways you can do this, but in the latest versions of Excel it's actually incredibly easy once you know how. It's a slightly hidden feature, but what we can do is we can highlight all the names, and then I'm going to go to the data tab. You can see them on it here, and what I want to do then is click on text to columns, and what this is going to do is basically break this names, which is one column, into two. So here we go, text to columns, and it's going to give me two options. So this is an important one, and this is sometimes where people kind of get confused and wonder why it's not working. So the first option is Excel saying, do I want to split the names by a specific character, or do I want to split the names or the column by a specific width? So for instance, are all the names 4 characters? And of course they're not. For a name, the names are all different lengths, so fixed width's not going to work. But delimited is, because between all the names is a space, and that's where I want to split the columns. So I'm going to select the delimited option and click next. And I've got a lot of options here. Now often it's defaulted to tab, so just have a look, but I don't want tab, I do want space, because there's a space that's splitting up the names. So if I click space, you can see here a little preview in the window below telling me what it's going to look like, and that looks correct. So I'm going to go next. Now at this point I can decide what the data type is. Well, the data type is text, so you can see this top heading here is changed to text. If I click on the second one and I click that to text, just to make sure everything's good, and then it's saying, well, where do I want the names to end up? And if I leave it at A2, it's going to overwrite the names I started with. So actually I'm going to change that to B2, because that's going to put them into the next columns that I've already set up. So I'm going to click finish, and you can see now the names have all split correctly. So that's really useful. The second thing I'm just going to show you though is, well, they don't look great in capitals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little formula that will change them into a name that starts with a capital letter and the rest of them are lowercase. So because I'm doing this as a formula, I'm going to put equals, and then I'm going to use the formula which is called proper. So I type proper, you can see it comes up as an option, and then I'm going to say I want this as a proper name. I press enter, and you can see it's put the first letter as a capital and the rest are all lowercase. I'm going to do the fill down, so I'm going to double click in the corner here to make it fill all the way down, and then I'm actually going to highlight that, and I can just drag across, and you can see it then does the same for the last names. So I've now got my first names and last names. I don't actually want these capital ones, so I'm actually going to highlight this, and I'm going to copy and paste over the ones that I don't want. So I'm going to copy. Now the thing I'm going to just be a bit careful of is when I paste, I want to paste values. Go paste values. Otherwise this column here will go a bit funny, you get what's called a circular loop. I'm going to delete the ones I don't want, and there we go. We've got the names now separated and looking like names. Okay, so for the second bit, we click on Join Names tab down here. We're now going to look at joining names back together and how that works. So here we've got the names, they're separated, and I want them put together as a single name, a full name if you like. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on this first box in the full name column and press equals, and then I'm going to click the first name, and you can see it's telling me it's going to put first name in there. Just to show you, when I press enter, you can see the whole column is now filled with the first names. Just make it a bit wider. So now what I want to do though is I don't just want the first names because that's pretty pointless, I also want the last name. And that's done in Excel using concatenation, which is a posh way of saying combining two cells together to make one. So the way I do that is if I go to the formula bar at the top, I'm now going to put the AND symbol, or the ampersand, and that is the symbol that tells Excel to join two things together. So I've got the first name and I want to join it with the last name. Now when I do that, you'll notice that it creates a bit of a problem, because when we write names, obviously we don't put them together, they need to have a space in. So I need to tell Excel that actually I want a space as well. So I want first name space last name. So I'm going to alter this formula to reflect that. So I've got first name and now I'm going to put speech marks space speech marks, which has to put a space in, and then another ampersand, so it's going to join it to the last name. So it's first name and space and last name, and if I do that, then we get all the names written correctly. Again, that might seem a bit confusing the first time you see it, but it's the same format all the time. What do you want first, and space, and then what you want second. If you don't put the space in, it's not going to look right. Now again, sometimes a mistake that people often make is to then delete these first two columns, because like, oh, I don't need those anymore. So if I do that, watch what happens. I lose everything because we've used a formula. So to get over that, so what I'm going to do to combat that is I'm going to copy the names. So I'm highlighting, Control C to copy, or I can go up to the copy option here, both will do the same. And then when I paste, I'm going to be careful and not just paste normally, but paste values. Now it won't look any different, but now it's not using the formula to work out those names and squash them together. It's just squashed them together and said, right, that's it, I'm done. Now I can delete these first two columns, and you can see they've been kept intact. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video and you've learned how to split names apart, make them formatted using the proper formula, and also how we concatenate, join together cells to create a new column. If you found this useful, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to be told when new videos have come online, and I look forward to seeing you again with Show Me Tech Tips.